In this video, we would like to show you what you can create with a variety of watercolors and inks from KOH-I-NOOR Hardtmuth. We explain how to properly use classic watercolors. We will be covering watercolors, reflective liquid watercolors and drawing inks, all on A4 Pop Aquarelle watercolor paper by KOH-I-NOOR. Before we start work, we should prepare a suitable container with water, which we will use during painting. Water is very important and must be kept clean. If a brush comes into contact with some dirt, it might eventually change the tone of the colors. We will need a cloth or a piece of paper which we will wipe surplus paint from the tip of the brush. This way, the tip of the brush will not lose its shape, which is essential for coloring smaller places and blotting. We can now demonstrate the individual techniques and proper use of these products in A4 portrait format, where after outlining our motif in pencil, we will accompany it differently with color and font outline. When outlining, there should not be too much pressure on the nib and no coloring or shading. The first step that you'll see is classic coloring. When coloring, do not be afraid to push the brush firmly into the color you're choosing, especially on first contact with a brush and water, because the paint will be dry. Wait a few seconds before painting for the paint to release all of its pigments. Apply colors in the same motion as a crayon or felt tip pen, evenly covering the white paper. When we want to paint less richly, just moisten the brush more and just lightly wipe the tip. When coloring large areas or different backgrounds, a flowable reflective paint will serve us well, which in our case we can apply to a piece of paper. These colors have an ideal density, therefore do not need to be mixed with water and can be directly applied to the brush. We now mainly use black and orange reflective paint, which is beautifully radiant and is ideal as a background. Another technique which was invaluable today is lightening color. This simple technique is especially useful for those who want to create shade. Select an area and fill it partially with color. Then clean your paintbrush so no residue of color is left, only water, which lightens the color. Ensure an even covering of water and lighten the whole tone beautifully together. Coloring using a rich palette is better with artist opaque watercolors because they are softer, so consequently transferring paint onto the brush is more comfortable. A very fun and interesting coloring technique is mixing watercolors and drawing ink. It's very easy and we never know exactly just what we will create and how the color pigments will fight with the strength of the drawing ink. Just fill the area with color using more water and drawing ink drops. Drawing ink and watercolors have a different density and composition, so when combined, wonderful structures can form. To optimize this process, most often a combination of bright watercolors and a darker shade of drawing ink gives the most impressive results. When connecting two or more colors, proceed in a similar way to lightening, except brighten only part of the first color, clean the brush and apply another color. The colors must not come into contact until both are moistened, so we need to go faster and be careful our first color is dry. If you are not satisfied with the result of the merger, simply wait until both colours are dry and then water is applied to the whole area which connects the beautifully restored colours. In order for all the coloured surfaces we have created today to stand out even better, we can trace dark colours in a variety of decorative lines and shapes. This decoration is performed mainly at the end of the process. It is important that all the colours are dry enough. When tracing, we must be vigilant, especially with the tip of the brush, and use a minimum of water. Keep brush strokes as accurate and as thin as possible. Now we'll just repeat the aforementioned techniques, and we'll see what comes of it. I can only wish you a lot of patience and, most importantly, fun. Because there are no limits on our fantasies, it's up to you whether you trace your work or not, or even whether you outline in pencil beforehand or early in the process, or just begin immediately with a brush.